So in this video, we started our day off in Tin City, which is this very cool area of Paso Robles where they're sort of like warehouses. They're very industrial looking structures, but there's all sorts of wineries and food trucks, and it's just a very cool, different view of Paso Robles.
For sure. It's more tasting room style than being amongst the vines, so to speak.
Yeah, we had a great lunch. I forget. Oh, I had like a brisket. We went to like a place
A barbecue place?
Yeah, sort of like brisket. Yeah, it was amazing.
For our final day of wine tasting, this was a great place to be. I enjoyed it. We would walk to all of the places. Our first one for the day was Aaron Wines, and we bought a lot.
We really liked it. And Aaron was even there. He came into the wine tasting room, but he's very quiet and didn't say anything. But our host pointed him out. A great stop for us. We enjoyed Aaron Wines a lot and bought a lot of wine.
And we had Josie and Molly as our hostesses.
Yep, they were amazing.
But I love Tin City overall, and being able to walk from tasting room to tasting room.
We really liked it.
We sure did. Cheers.
Cheers. Here we are, Tin City, and I have no idea what it's about, why we're here. We've been on a winery tour, and now we're into a very urban area, and this is Joelle.
Hi.
And I don't know anything about it, so that's all I got. No, here, Chris, so this is our tour guide, Chris. Chris,
hi.
Tell us about Tin City.
So we're at Tin City today. It is an industrial park that has a lot of breweries and restaurants and wineries. Most of the winemakers here either don't have their own vineyards and purchase a bunch of grapes from other people, or they might have vineyards kind of out in a more remote area, and they have a tasting room here in town, so it's easy to get to. And there's a bunch of them together, and we're gonna taste 3 today.
And that's why Chris should have a channel, and we should just give our channel to him and let him do it. So there you go. Nice job, Chris. Oh, this is Carolyn. This is his lovely wife.
And our
driver.
incredible chauffeur for the trip.
Right, our incredible chauffeur for the trip has gotten us safely around, even though we almost got killed yesterday.
Not by her.
First stop, Aaron wine tasting, or the Aaron Cellar door. Aaron Winery and Cellar door. There we go. Whoa.
Hi.
Hello there, you Utes. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, so let's start with the Vineyard, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah.
You guys had a lot of wine?
I don't know.
Nothing.
I don't think you've had it at our house.
Definitely not at your place. I don't know if they sell it anywhere local. Looks a little familiar, but I don't think
I
so.
haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's very common.
Yeah, they actually tend to hoard all the wines that they really like.
We get the $2 chocolate.
We go
to
there,
their
we
house.
go over, and it's
Okay.
whatever Safeway has on sale that day.
Because we brought it.
Well, this is our Vineyard. So we have 2 brands. We have Aaron and Aquaria. Aquaria is all coastal fruits, and we do aromatic whites and Pinot Noir with that label. And then Aaron is what we started with in 2002, just making Petit Syrah, but then slowly grew and added a few Petit Syrah blends. So this is from Pismo Beach, a vineyard called Spanish Springs, about 2 miles from the coast. It's in 40% neutral oak, 60% stainless steel, and it gets a little bit of lees contact through a process called bétonnage, which is when you stir the barrels. And it's got a little bit of an atypical nose for Viognier. Normally, Viognier is more perfumes, more floral, has really ripe stone fruit. Our Ours is a bit more like a Sauvignon Blanc.
That's what I was gonna say. I smell like New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc.
Maybe like unripe apricot, a little bit of ginger, and it has a lot of minerality in the palate for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And do you, Chris, own any of these
We
vineyards?
don't own any vineyards.
Okay.
We just contract and buy fruit, which
Okay.
is really nice actually. So yeah, this is quite acid driven, so it's very fresh, really easy to drink. It's great
Really
for summer. Pairs really beautifully with food.
I always like the Vineyard.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's drinking really nice for sure. So lots of red fruits here, like raspberry, cranberry, a little bit of dried strawberry. It's got a little bit of spice and it has about 25% new French oak. This is definitely the lowest alcohol red that we have. It's 14%. And it's very light, has kind of a lot of perfume.
It's like pie. It's
Savory
like blueberry
note.
cobbler.
But yeah, it's very light in body and definitely a good warm up for our petite Syrah blends. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. What do you think of the Vineyard?
Amazing.
Happy? Yeah. It's so great for summer. And I love white wine and just like more drinkable wines. I just go by
That one
so
is like
quickly.
ready to take a sip. Balanced. I love that one.
Yeah, no, it's really, really nice.
Yeah, 2:30.
That's the next one. So switching to the Aaron wines here. Unfortunately, our Spanish Springs is literally that sold out that I can't even open
no
a single bottle.
It is done. Do you have one at home?
No.
She's like, I don't
It's
even.
really sold out.
No one has anything.
But I'll pour the Malca for you guys at the end.
Oh.
Okay.
So this is
So
the
it
Sand and
takes it
Stone,
out of
first
tune
one
a
of our
little bit?
Aaron wines.
I want to hear that.
As you can see, it's a little bit more opaque in the glass, and that's a typical characteristic of Petite Syrah. So even though this is 50% Grenache, which is quite a clear grape in the glass, it's still got definitely a big show from the Petite. It's got much more body, so it feels a little bit thicker, coats your mouth a little bit more, more tannin, more structure. Still pretty ripe and juicy from the Grenache. Definitely has a good bit of acid, a lot of ripe blackberry, and then kind of some sweet vanilla from the oak. But this is definitely on the more approachable side of the next three.
No, this one's delicious. We love this one.
Yeah, Sand and Stone is really smooth and it's fruity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's one of those wines that's like great by itself or can be with food.
absolutely.
It's like good either
That's
way.
what we love about these.
Do you guys know the story behind the name?
No, the trespasser. I don't
No.
think we had that.
I remember we heard it, but I don't recall what.
But yes,
what it
tell
was.
them.
Yeah,
Please,
sure.
sure.
So with Sand and Stone, Aaron studied in Australia for his master's degree, and he studied winemaking and viticulture, but he was in a region called Adelaide, and the wine area there is McLarendale. And so there's this really cool vineyard that's kind of in these sand dunes, which is pretty unusual for Grenache. I actually worked in that region of Australia, so it was like funny to hear this story because I was like, "Dude, I've been there." But yeah, it's a pretty interesting spot to grow grapes. It's not easy to grow in sand. The vines have a really hard time getting started. Like once they establish a root system, they're okay, but the first few years are pretty tough. So that was the first place that he made Grenache. And then he came back and one of his jobs was working for Saxum for a while. And they have a Grenache that's in limestone. So those are the two places that he grew Grenache, really fell in love with the grape, and decided to name this wine Sand and Stone.
Oh, that's cool.
Really nice.
And I'll tell you the trespasser story when you guys
Okay.
get ready.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now
now
you're
we're
the trespasser. The story is that he would go to get samples from a vineyard, and the vineyard manager had huge deer fences on the property, 12 feet, which is kind of unusual. Yeah, it's a little bit excessive.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like a little.
But I mean, they probably tried to stop. I don't know if maybe that's an area that they have unusually high amounts of deer.
They're
I
jumping
know.
deer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he had these super high deer fences, but it was gated, and so he'd arranged for the guy to open the gate. The guy wouldn't come, there's no service, so he's not just gonna sit around. and he'd climb over the fence with all these plastic bags, get samples, because we do a lot of analysis leading up to harvest. So he'd get samples and climb back over the fence, like bags in his teeth and his hands.
Yeah,
And
like
the thing is that I was on a really, really, really busy road. So cars would kind of like slow down and like look out the window. Like, what is this guy doing? It's like, who's gonna steal, 5 pounds of grapes? What are you gonna do with that? So I never got in trouble, but that is the story. They had to climb those fences. Yeah.
Trespassing.
This
one is
trespassing.
lovely.
Pizza, Mourvedre, and Syrah. It's very
We do have this one. at
different, a little bit darker,
Mhm.
has a bit more chocolate. The Mourvedre, we do 50% stem inclusion.
home.
So we de-stem the grapes and crush them, and then we put about 50% of the stems back into the fermentation, mix them up, and let them ferment until we press. So Petite Syrah can't really handle stems. It's a little bit too heavy already, but Mourvedre actually does really well with it. It's a little bit more of a savory grape, and it's not as full-bodied, so it handles stem really well. And we put Mourvedre with this because it gives a really long finish and a nice mid-palate, so it's really thick in your tongue and kind of long in your mouth. That's a big part from the Mourvedre. So this is the Petite Syrah flagship wine. We do a barrel selection for this wine, and we work with 4 different sizes of barrels actually, so from 228 liters to 400 liters. 400 is like the ones that you'll see outside of the tables at Wine Shine in here, and 228 is like the typical one that you would see. 300 and 350 in between the 228 and 400. And our 350 barrels actually have extra thick staves. So the staves are the wooden pieces that go, they're slightly rounded and come up and down the barrel. And we use, so wine typically penetrates about 3 millimeters. And with those ones, they have a little bit extra thickness, so a little bit more penetration and more effect from the oak. But you also have a little bit less oxygenation, which is one of the interesting parts of working with a barrel like that.
So then do you actually take and blend all of them together from the small, the medium, and the large barrels?
Exactly. We pull our Petite Syrahs. We kind of assess, because we have a few different Petite Syrah vineyards, and so we kind of assess, like, how's each of these vineyards tasting and how's it this year, and then we do individual barrel samples, and we think, like, okay, start to pull together a big picture, like, I'm feeling like there's more fruit here, there's more tannin here. We start to put things together, and then we do, like, individual barrels, and that's usually ends up being the best ones that we have in this blend. Petite Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon,
And it's
Petit
called,
Verdot.
how do you pronounce it?
Melka?
Melka.
It means mountain in Hawaii, or not Hawaii, but you understand.
Yeah.
So Aaron is half Hawaiian, his mom's from Hawaii, and this vineyard, we have this really cool cab vineyard that's at this crazy, like, little mountainside spot that's kind of a little bit off the coast, but still in the Paso Robles. It's a really just site. The vines are quite old there.
Tell me when you're ready.
And I don't think Aaron ever expected to make a cab, but he got access to that vineyard and was like, I really want that. And this one is available to club members. The Spanish drinks normally.
Now I have to join.
So that's another part, is that we have like several single vineyard Pinots. We have this. We have other blend. And you would get access to this. We also have a Pinot Gris, which if you like to Viognier, you definitely love. So it's nice because you can come in and you can buy any of those wines, whereas people who aren't members have to wait until they're released. Sometimes they release them and we don't have much after that.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah, it's a few barrels, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.